Hello beautiful, thank you so much for joining me in another video. Today I'm going to be recreating this look by Paris Doing Art on Instagram, and it's this adorable pink leopard print face paint look. So there are kids outside playing, that's what that background noise is. Nobody's getting killed or anything, but yeah, it's a really nice spring day in London no less, so you know that this is very rare, so let's just let the kids do what they want to do. And so recently I've been doing a lot of different makeup looks, a lot of different face paint art, and a lot of different types of makeup styles on myself. If you follow me on Instagram then you know all about that. I've been loving it, like honestly, it's such a great pastime of mine recently. I've always been into makeup and art ever since I was younger. Doing my makeup has always been a very big part of my life, even as a kid. I don't know if that's good or not, but it's just the way that it is. It led me to really have a very strong passion for doing my makeup and being creative and just expressing myself in that way. But for a while it was actually something that I wasn't very invested in doing. There was this point in my life where I would not be bothered to do my makeup or to try different things or put in that effort in my appearance, and a lot of that was to do with my decline in mental health. For a little bit I was struggling a lot at one point. Another part of that was because I really didn't like being seen. When you're a kid you don't really care about being seen like that, you know. Along the way certain life experiences happen to you. We're made to feel like we should care about what other people think and therefore have to hide ourselves. People can be really nasty, people can be really mean. Doing your makeup and talking at the same time is actually really hard. I literally forgot to put primer on and to do my brows. The reason why me doing my makeup a lot in different ways and putting myself out there and doing very, I guess, unusual looks that you don't really see on a day-to-day basis unless you're very into the makeup niche. The reason why that's so important to me is because it is a very big indication that I actually just do not care about being seen anymore and being perceived as cringe. Because this is something that I think most people would find cringe, you know, just being in front of a camera, talking to yourself essentially, and posting it online. And also doing very daring out there looks. Maybe they just don't like art, maybe they just don't like being on camera, but I think a lot of people disguise that, the fact that they, you know, don't like art or don't like to be on camera, with a mask of it being cringe, like almost placing it on the person who's doing the things instead of taking a look at themselves. Maybe they just don't want to be seen. Going back to me, I'm going to be referring to me doing my makeup a lot because, like I said earlier, there was a point in my life where I wasn't really putting effort into my appearance, and a big part of that was because I didn't want to be seen. So the fact that now, years later, I'm coming back home to that part of myself who always loved doing her makeup, who always loved trying different things, and coming back to that part of myself is such an empowering thing, because it means that, you know, I don't care anymore. Like, to put it very simply and bluntly, I don't care anymore. I don't care who sees me. I don't care who watches this video. I don't care if they hate. I don't care if they love it. I mean, obviously if you love it then I appreciate you, but I don't take things personally anymore. I don't take things to heart because I genuinely am just living for myself, and it feels that way. And when it feels that way, it's like, I don't know, you just feel like an unstoppable force. People these days on the internet, they just comment the word cringe on posts that they don't like, or maybe posts that trigger them psychologically. And it's so overused that I don't even know the actual definition of it. People just use it as a default type of insult. Everything these days is cringe or can be seen as cringe. Maybe I'm looking into it quite deeply, which I tend to do anyways. I'm a Scorpio. But I genuinely don't believe that happy people do judge. I genuinely don't believe that anybody that's happy with themselves and their lives will judge somebody. My own role models, I could not see any of them commenting on somebody's post cringe. It doesn't add up. My role models personally are very stable, independent, secure women who know their own worth and have intrinsic confidence, and it's not hard to see that, like, it's very radiant within them. So those type of people, not just women, but those type of people, they wouldn't take the time out of their days to belittle somebody in such a way. The thing about quote unquote cringe people is that they are just doing what they want. Whenever I've heard or seen somebody on the internet or in real life just making fun of somebody and using the word cringe to insult them, the other person that is being insulted, they always just seem to be having fun. Like, they're just doing their own thing. They're just living their own life, dressing the way that they want to dress, doing what they want to do online. They're doing their own thing, and that absolutely should not warrant somebody making fun of them for just existing and living their own life. I get that this is something that is just going to be the case for as long as life goes on. There's always going to be spiteful, hateful people out there who have nothing good to say about others. That's just a part of life. I feel like it's a good way to balance things out. We have to have those people who are very determined, as well as the people who are lazy and who can, you know, just to balance out the way of life. The same goes for how there's always going to be mean people out there. Those who are belittling you in any way. They've always got something going on, like something bad, something from their personal life that triggers them to react in such a way. Like I said earlier, I've never met anybody who is actually very happy with themselves and their lives that stoops down to such a level. To be quote unquote cringe really is just another word for you being authentic and you doing what you want to do because you're living your own goddamn life. Unfortunately, people don't really like authenticity. Some who are very unhealed will find it triggering because the thought of somebody doing something so true to themselves, so out there, is very triggering for those who constantly repress themselves from doing just that thing, from living their truth, living in their authenticity. And you could try to understand why. I mean, to suppress your truth every single day and to feel like your authentic self is a problem every single day, it's a tiring thing, and not to mention just very detrimental for your mental health and well-being. And when you think of it that way, it kind of grants you a little bit of compassion for those that do make fun of others. I mean, this is not to excuse anyone's actions or how they treat you as a person, but it explains things. When you decide to live in your authenticity and to live life for you and only you will most likely receive a lot of backlash for doing so. But only from the people who are not meant to be in your life, for those that are unhealed and for those that don't want the best for you. That in itself sounds like a lot to deal with. Just the thought of you getting backlash for living your truth. I mean, that's why people who aren't living in their truth do what they do, because they are afraid of the backlash and the reactions that they may see around them. The way I combat this though is by asking myself, would I rather live in a state of fear my entire life and let others' potential opinions about me dictate my life and the decisions I make for my own life? Or would I rather just say, fuck it, let's just do what I want to do, because why not? It's a lot easier said than done, but it does start with you asking those questions, those very important questions, and really reflecting on who you actually want to be as a person, you know, like without other people's judgments and opinions, without all that background noise. Who do you want to be? That's the first step in any journey, setting a goal, an intention of your best self and what that looks like in every single aspect, down to how they dress, to how they do their makeup, how they show up in the world, how they are like in their career, in their work life, how they are like in their friendships. And I know it can sound like a lot and very tedious, but this is why it's a journey. This is not something that you're meant to know in a day, or that you're going to figure out in a day. I'm still trying to figure out everything that I want in this life, and just what it means to me and my intentions behind those things. And I'm okay with that. Just accepting and being okay with the fact that this is a lifelong journey that you get to decide you want to go on is empowering in itself. And I was just thinking about that one cliche or quote. I actually don't know who said it or if it even is a quote. Being on your deathbed and regretting you not doing the things that you wanted to do, like that popped into my mind right now, because that is exactly what this applies to. This is exactly what overcoming the fear of being seen and just embracing being cringe, aka just being authentic, means and what it applies to. And it correlates because a lot of you deciding what you want to do in life is based on you not really giving in to other people's judgments and opinions, and not letting that cloud your own judgment. This is called our life for a reason, you know, this is our life for a reason. Going back to what I was saying earlier on in the video about me coming back home to myself because I'm doing what I always loved as a child, and doing that now in my adulthood is such a liberating thing because it means that I'm living in this kind of carefree, authentic way. Because when you're a kid, like I was saying, not much really gets you, for being honest. Like, kids, they do what they want, and honestly, respect to them. The worries and anxieties that do come with life can be used as catalysts for growth, for sure. I'm not saying that we should be free of that and prevent our children and prevent others from experiencing that, because a lot of growth can come from it, but it doesn't mean that we have to live in those states for the rest of our lives. Because living in those states could cost you your peace, could cost you, not even could, but it does cost you your peace. It does cost you what you want to do in life, because with all the anxiety, with all the fear, with all the worries powered up in one, like, it's a recipe for you keeping yourself small and not trying new things and not letting yourself be seen, which is actually a really powerful thing. Like, even if you don't want to be a public speaker or an actress or a content creator, just being seen by others around you and not anticipating what they have to say and not just living in that state of fear 24/7, it's a freeing thing. Like, come on now. Letting yourself live in your authenticity and also allowing yourself to be seen can look like different things. It could look like you deciding to wear that outfit that you've always wanted to wear but have just postponed on doing so because you didn't feel like there was an event to show up to in that outfit. But honestly, just like treating your day-to-day life like the event anyways, because life is the event. Like, let's be so real. You don't need an event, a party to get glam and to just look good. I mean, why shouldn't every day be that? I mean, I get it, like, it can be a lot of hassle, and, you know, we all got responsibilities and things to attend to that, you know, may not be okay with our certain styles, you know, like dress codes and whatnot. I get that there are certain limitations to doing so, but if you're being completely honest with yourself with the fact that there really isn't any limitations or any excuse for you to not dress up in a certain way, then that is your sign to do so, and to just let yourself live in your truth and do whatever the hell you want to do, because this is your life. As long as it's not hurting you or anybody, then why the hell should you not do it? I cannot even begin to emphasize just how much freedom I've gained from simply choosing to show up as my true self, because I suddenly now want to do all these things that I didn't want to do at one point. All the things that I felt I was going to get rejected for, or felt I wasn't ready to do, or didn't have enough confidence to do, I'm doing now. I don't think you understand how much of a big deal that really is. It's very healing, for one thing, and it's also just such a big indication of your progress, of your growth as a person, and like I said, very freeing. It's very hard to really describe in words. It's definitely more of a strong feeling than anything that can truly be described, but it's a beautiful thing, believe me. That you just feel a lot happier. You see the world in vibrant colours, and you feel the limitless of your life and everything that you can achieve. Like, it really is this childlike wonder. You realise that everything is possible, that anything that you want to do can be achieved, and you don't let people, words that people have to say, stop you or bring you down. Like, it literally is like when you're walking in the street, a fly flies in your face. It's not nice, don't get me wrong, but it's also just like, it's whatever. Like, you just go on about your day. Like, it literally is like that. Like, you just swat it away. That's what people's words and opinions and how they feel about you start to be perceived by you when you finally choose to embrace what it is to be cringe, what it means to be cringe, and the beauty of it all. Oh my gosh, she's coming along! So this is the finished look. I am obsessed with the finished look. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, is she just not giving or what? The glitter, oh my god. Again, this is inspired by Paris Doing Art on Instagram. Massive shout out to them. Yeah, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope that you go on with your life living in your authenticity and as your true self, because your true self is very much worthy. With that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week, and goodbye.